Excellent. So thanks everyone for joining this webcast. We do have a lot of webcasts and a lot of conversations coming up that we would love to brief you on and get your feedback on. So last week we had the mobile app webcast, talking about the 3.0 launch. Today we're talking about the key release coming out in mid-November. We're also going to have another webcast after the Fusion conference next week, so that'll be essentially 2 weeks from today. And then we'll probably have another webcast in mid-November talking about maintenance being done in early December. So lots of activity at ServiceAide, lots of enhancements and value that we hope to add to you. So a lot more to come there. Just by way of introductions, my name is Rich Graves, so I lead the product management team. We also have Prasanna from the product management team, and then I'll introduce one of our newest product managers as well in just a minute. Okay. So I will be talking a little bit about futures, not a ton, but standard disclaimer that we're not making commitment to timelines or specifics on features, but we do want to give you as much transparency and information as possible to make your decisions. Okay, so a few recent updates. I try to condense this as much as possible because I want to spend most of our time on the key release. So the latest mobile app went live about 2 weeks ago now. So I really encourage you, this is an update to the ServiceAide mobile app. I really encourage everyone to download, and if you haven't downloaded already, or update your mobile app, or you may already have it if you're using software that updates automatically. So I encourage you to use this release. It's a really strong release, a ton of new functionality. It's role-based now, so end users have the ability to log in and manage their tickets and open up new tickets using the catalog, manage approvals, and analysts have that continued functionality to manage their queue, take action. And then we also added the ability to store multiple accounts in a single app, meaning that I could switch between staging and production, or I could switch between 2 different production slices or a support account. So it gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to not have to log in, log out, and do all that. So much easier approach there. So if you haven't already, please do to download that and let us know what you think. Next, the community. So we launched the new community just about a month ago and have seen some good involvement. I think we still need to continue sort of feeding the community, putting a lot more information out there, making sure we're responding to posts as ServiceAide, as well as community members as well. So we are running a contest each month to give away an Amazon gift card to the top participant each month. So it's unique to that month. So we're sort of started the scoring over just a few days ago. But Tom Connery was our first winner. So thanks, Tom, for all of your participation and questions and ideas and votes and discussions and responding to others. So thank you for participation, and Tom will be getting his Amazon gift card this week. And we'll start the new contest over. Just started on the 20th. So everyone has an equal chance again to get active on the community, vote on ideas, update your profile, check out what's going on, and certainly ask and answer questions. Okay. Also, I know I've been mentioning this in the last few webcasts, but we ServiceAide as a new name in service management. Certainly, cloud service management has been around for a long time now, but the ServiceAide name and brand is something that's new. So independent reviews from real users and real customers are of critical importance, as you can imagine, to us as we go and attempt to acquire new customers and grow the customer base, and certainly grow the company as well. So Capterra is one of those independent review sites. So I encourage you to go to Capterra, spend about 5 minutes to submit a review. And certainly feel free to read other reviews as well. We read them, we look at all of them, and take the feedback to heart. But it's really helpful to get honest customer feedback when people are looking at a new vendor. Okay, and the last thing in the updates, we did hire a new product manager to join the team, so we're expanding the team. So Sesh is our new product manager. He's based out of Hyderabad, India, where we have a sizable team there. So Sesh has a wealth of background in IT operations, working at companies like HP. And also, he was the CEO and founder of a small startup in the healthcare space. So it's really exciting to have someone that's in U.S. terminology, we call them makers, or even entrepreneurs on the team to really push the vision and the strategy. So we're excited to have Sesh on board. He'll be leading our artificial intelligence and machine learning strategy based on his background there. So as most of you know on the call, that's really who we are as a vendor, is trying to figure out that intelligent intersection of artificial intelligence and service management and deliver unique value to our customers there, so to make you more efficient and more productive there. So we're excited to have Sesh on, and we're certainly looking to hire a lot more folks in India and Brazil and China and the US as well. So exciting times at ServiceAide here as we grow. All right, so now on to the main event here, so the key release. So I'll talk a little bit in PowerPoint first on the key release. I'll try to keep it pretty focused and short, so Prasanna has plenty of time to walk through the new features so you actually see them in use rather than just screenshots in PowerPoint. I thought it was important first to sort of set the stage of what we were doing with this release and where we saw, the value that we wanted to derive and provide to you as customers. So there's three main goals. First is to provide more channels for support. So really being able to, the mobile app is a big part of this, of being able to allow you as users or your customers to be able to provide support and channels addition to, email and phone and an online portal. Additionally, improving mean time to resolution. This is probably the thing we work on the most. What can we do to reduce the number of clicks, to provide better information to the agent who's working on the ticket, to the end user? So what can we do to make that support experience just keep, taking out manual steps and reducing that so that we keep driving down mean time to resolution and make that better and better as we improve in the product. And that ultimately translates into higher customer satisfaction from the customer perspective. And last but not least, improved performance and stability. There's several under the covers changes that you're not necessarily going to see a new feature for, but as we go, and these are changes that we're improving the architecture, improving the database, and improving our infrastructure so that over the next several releases, you'll start to see performance improving, stability improving, and overall just a better solution. So digging into a little bit more detail on these, so providing more channels for support, the first thing is the mobile app. We spent a lot of engineering effort on that mobile app that we showed you last week. So that is now a new channel for self-service users to come to access support, and improving that channel for analyst users as well. Additionally, I'm not going to talk about it today, but we have a big announcement next week at the Fusion conference. So if you're not familiar with Fusion, that's the IT Service Management Forum conference in the US next week. So we're announcing some pretty exciting new technology and the vision that I think many of you probably have heard some about, but I'll talk more, and we'll have a webcast to talk through that announcement and show everything that we're showing to attendees at the Fusion conference on the 8th of November, and that's been posted to the community, so you can go ahead and download a calendar invite from that. Next, on improving mean time to resolution, we really focused on this area, and probably the bulk of what you'll see today is on usability improvements for the analyst. So we spent a lot of our effort, besides the mobile app and besides what we're going to be talking about Fusion in that launch, on usability enhancements for analysts. And lastly, and certainly not least, improving performance and stability. So again, some under the cover architecture and changes. We also did add those new license reports, which is all about you having better visibility and access to understanding licensing and reporting and licensing and sessions and usage as well. And lastly, we'll show today another update to the advanced reporting module. So adding some new features around the dashboard area, as well as just fixing a lot of bugs and improving that module overall. Okay, so jumping into it, the first thing and really focused on usability is what's called a responsive layout on tickets. So today, depending on the browser size you have, your screen resolution, you're going to see, on the tickets screen, you're going to see a single column of fields from top to bottom, and you'll see your right-hand panel on the right-hand side there as a screenshot. So this screenshot shows that based on my resolution and the screen I had when I took the screenshot, now I'm seeing 2 columns. That could be 3 columns, that could be 4 columns, depending on your browser size, how good your eyes are, and the monitor that you have as well. So it's now responsive. The more horizontal width you have on your browser, in that window you have open, the more columns of data will show you. And the real advantage there is there's less scrolling for the analyst that's working on this ticket. They're seeing a lot more information in front of them at the same time, so they can react and use this form much more quickly, and certainly, again, reduce scrolling. So I want to show, I took 2 screenshots. So this is a screenshot of a change ticket with the right-hand panel, as you can see on the right-hand side, hidden. So this is a change ticket on the current release, and at the same screen resolution, this is the new release. So this is key. So this is now with responsive layout. I have my right-hand panel, hidden, minimized there. So you can see there if I go back and forth, 1 column with a lot of white space, and then now 3 columns, and it's filling the whole screen there. So you can also see the amount of data I'm seeing on the screen at once is greatly improved. And I'm also, basically, I can see the entire ticket information section on the screen here, and a little bit of that, beginning of the additional information section. And before, I wasn't seeing nearly as much information. So this is on my, monitor. I have my desk. It's a pretty high resolution monitor, so I think I wanted to make sure I detail it. I think it's 1920 by 1080. So that gives you a sense. So depending on your monitor size, and again, you could zoom out, zoom in, and see more data or less data depending on how you want to handle it. But you'll see the screen essentially fill with fields, which is a much better experience, and really I think will make your analysts much more effective. This also, I should mention, handles role-based views as well. So if you're hiding fields or sections, it's going to handle that as well and be responsive based on those changes. Okay. So I think it's a really important enhancement to, really improve efficiency, reduce scrolling, reduce clicks, keep the user focused. The next improvement, again, around usability is what we call Advanced Ticket Center. This is a brand new workspace. It's currently in beta. So for this release, the key release, it will be in beta. I'll go ahead and mention before I talk about the value of it that if you are interested in using this, please reach out to us. I'll make sure to mention my email address, but you can always reach out in the community or post in the community if you have questions on this. So Advanced Ticket Center is essentially a redesign of that Ticket Center workspace, that workspace where an analyst spends most of their time managing their queue, essentially their backlog of tickets. So we wanted to rebuild that workspace from the ground up and really improve performance and also remove distractions. So I think there's a lot of questions in the community and ideas about the badges that are available in the current Ticket Center workspace and the charts on the right, and being able to change those or hide them or get rid of them completely because you're not using whatever those are showing. So we first wanted to start, let's just get the grid flexible, right, get users focused on data, put the most important information in front of them. So the Advanced Ticket Center now has the ability to add custom fields to that grid. So you can see in the screenshot that's in the foreground, you have the ability to just pull up all the custom fields and click and select those. Right now, it's only supporting 5. Again, we're trying to get feedback and test performance and usability before we make this live for everyone. But in beta, it's only 5 custom fields. So I can pop up that window at any point, change the custom fields, and they'll show up in my grid. I can go back and change them again. I can show, hide. I can move things around in the grid just like I was able to in regular Ticket Center. We've also added some new filters here, so being able to filter by projects as well. We've improved the search, and we also have some power user features where you can, within the search, actually type in field names and values and get very specific results in the search. But that's more of a power user because you do need to know the format of those, but that is available. But I think most importantly, and you'll see this in the demo, the performance of this workspace on loading, on filtering, and on searching as well has been drastically improved. It's almost instantaneous when you bring up this workspace to see a huge number of records, and before it certainly took much longer. So this is a big improvement. I think we want to launch it in beta to understand usability, make sure that we have it right before we launch it to everyone, and make sure the performance is meeting needs as well. Okay. Next, embedding images in knowledge articles. So the last release, we added rich text support to knowledge articles. The way images specifically were embedded was based on the a URL. So that limited what you could put in as an image. So you could go to Google Images and get an image and put it in there very easily. But if you're taking a screenshot of an error that's specific to your organization, you'd have to have that on some publicly available URL, which you may not want to do. So we knew that coming into that release. We couldn't fit in everything in the time we had. But the most common feedback we heard from customers was, I want to upload local files and embed them directly in that rich text field. So we do now support that. So you have the ability to upload a file, embed that, to also link to attachments. So if you have existing attachments on that knowledge article, you can link to it directly in that rich text field, the resolution or the cause or the symptoms, and be able to link directly to that attachment. So a lot more flexibility on knowledge articles, and we'll continue improving knowledge to give you a better knowledge experience for your users. Okay. Next, custom attributes on approvals. So today, in the current release, if you go to outstanding items and you looked at one of your approvals, you can review all the common fields on a ticket, on that approval. So see the assignee, the owner, the group, dates and those types of things. But you wouldn't see any of the custom fields that were specific to that ticket. So if it was a change that was for, I don't know, approval on a laptop, you could see the specifics on that approval and what values the user put in. So that's an enhancement as well. So I think that'll make the approval process much more transparent and save a few clicks as well, because if it's a manager going in to approve, say, a laptop order, they don't have to click into the change and view all the custom attributes there. They can see them directly in the approval screen. One note, this isn't available yet in the mobile app. That's something we will add later in an upcoming release. So initially, this will be just in the web, but we'll be adding that in the mobile app very soon. Next, on the ticket detail screen, when you're creating a ticket, a lot of customers wanted the ability to associate projects on ticket creation, or actually create a project during the ticket creation process. The related project section wasn't available until after save, and that often slows down users, especially if it's someone who is not like a level 1 analyst in there all the time. So this field and this section are now available during the ticket creation process, and you have the ability to create a project on the fly or associate an existing project here. So it's just a nice usability improvement there. A couple other usability enhancements, and then we'll talk a little bit about reporting and go into the demo. There's a couple improvements that customers had asked specifically for. The first is the way groups are associated to approval groups. The way it previously worked, when you associated the group to the approval group, it would just move all those users into the approval group. Well, the issue there is if that group, so if I say the network group, if the membership, if the users in that group it's dynamic and that's changing frequently, well, now that approval group is wrong. If the approval group was supposed to associate the network group, to link to that network group, you may lose, adding and changing users in that group. It's not going to be reflected in the approval group. So that was an issue. So now what happens when you associate a group, we're associating the group, and then at the point of approval, so when someone clicks, approve, or excuse me, submit for approval, that's when those users are going to be notified, and that's when it's going to look at the membership of that group rather than on association. It's going to be on approval. Okay. Next is we did some improvements to the create ticket special function. So this is most commonly used if you have someone open up a service request and it's really an incident, you want to convert it, or essentially like a copy to new type of action. You can now move more attributes from the previous advanced reporting. So we are taking a significant upgrade to advanced reporting. The underlying component we use, we're going to a newer version of JasperSoft is the underlying component. Most of the improvements are all around dashboards, or what they call dashlets, and a dashlet is just essentially one of these. I have one dashboard on the screen, and I have 4 dashlets, if that makes sense. So each one of those items, so you have the ability to to export each one of those different items. You have the ability to export the whole dashboard if you want, which is a nice way to be able to see multiple metrics on a single in a single area rather than having to run 4 reports and export each one of those. There's also some other improvements on time and wildcards. There's been some fixes around time zone handling. I know several customers I work with in the past have had problems with when a report was created in one time zone and a user's viewing it in another time zone as things don't show up quite right. So a fair amount of bug fixes in that release as well. So I think everyone will see some good value if you're using advanced reporting there. Okay. So I'm going to transition over to Prasanna. And while we're doing that, I'm going to check chat. See if there's any questions. So feel free to ask a question on chat. And if you do, please send to everyone so everyone can view the question. And if you do have an audio question, you can unmute yourself. There's a red sort of microphone icon next to your name that you can view there and unmute yourself if you have an audio question. Any audio questions at this point? Okay. Prasanna, I'm passing you the ball here. You can jump into demo.
Thanks, Rich. Let me share my screen. I'm audible now?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So let's look at the first enhancement on the responsive ticket layout. I've just logged in as an analyst and then viewing a ticket. Let me open up any of those tickets. So this is the ticket if I'm opening with the normal screen of my screen size is a bit smaller, not like Rich's 1920 by 1080. So I would be able to see 2 column 1. In case if I want to reduce the size of it, make it 80%. So and then remove the column width over here, then I would be able to see that in the 3 column layout. Or if you hide the left column, then I would be able to see that in the 4 column. So that's how you would probably organize things based on the screen size. You would be able to see most of the ticket details in probably single or less scrolling horizontally. That's the aim of this. So this is one improvement which we have done. Let me walk you through the other improvements on the Advanced Ticket Center. So Advanced Ticket Center is the new ticket center or the grid view of all the tickets which are assigned to the individual. If an analyst is logged in, and then whatever you would see in the normal ticket center based on the assignment associated, the analyst associated to the group, you would see those tickets. So here what we have done is we have not come up with a list of changes in the sense like we had earlier in our ticket center. Let me walk you through that ticket center. We had a couple of charts on the right hand side, badges on the top, the hidden, and also grid layout and the normal layout. So we knocked off because we did look at customers. Most of the analysts who would be working on ticket would be interested in working in grid layout where they could see multiple attributes of the ticket at one shot than in the grid view or in the list view. So where it's very limited, we could see only probably 8 or 10 attributes of the ticket. So thinking all those things, we started off with this grid as this one. So and this grid is based on the Elasticsearch. So you would see drastic improvement in the performance of this particular layout. So you could see if you go to the next screen, it would drastically faster, and then you can't do that in the normal one. It would take probably a few seconds more than what you would see over here. So along with that, what we have also added is the custom attribute section, where most of the customers were looking, for example, if I want, because whatever is required or customized in their environment, So those things they would like to have them listed out and then filter out on that, and also do the sorting on those custom attributes. They want to see them on the grid itself. So we have provided the select custom attributes available here, so that I can go and select. This list of attributes are based on all the attributes available and associated to the tickets. So I would see them, for example, you would see here actual cost, and also you would see what type of ticket this attribute is associated with, like service request type of tickets, you would see this actual cost. Something like change request, so like project name. So we have associated that with multiple ticket types. So you would see them and then associate them. So for testing purpose, we just did like, okay, project name, added them to the select one. So you would see the project name in the grid. So once you have in the grid, you can move them wherever you want, wherever you want to place them. Generally, when you add, it would get added at the last of the grid. So, and then you can play around with where you want to post them, where you want to have them visible there. And it would save the configuration in the same browser window. And then whenever you come back or re-log in, that would get stored in the grid itself. We also added a couple of more improvements in the grid, was the related project section. So where earlier we didn't had the association, like for example, in case if I associate a project and then want to filter on that project, it would have them. Not sure. Let me check what projects do have. And then probably associate one of them and then see if you could see them. So along with, apart from that, I would, okay, let us see if there are any, let me take some sample implementation.
And Prasanna, while you're doing that, a great question came in that I want to make sure everybody understands, because there's a question on if a custom field is in the grid, but that custom field is not related to, say, incidents, and you have incidents showing in your grid, you know, what happens there? So if I have a mix of ticket types in my grid, and some of those custom field columns apply to, say, incidents, and some don't, the ones that don't apply to incidents will just be empty.
Yes.
So you'll see that probably when Prasanna shows the grid again. You'll probably see that some of those custom field columns will just have, you know, blank values for some of the rows there.
So I just did CSM sample implementation is the project. I just added one of the change requests to that. Let me go back to the advanced report and then do a filter on CSM sample implementation project and then apply that project. So you would see the tickets which are associated to that. You would see the one which are associated there in this list of projects there. So you would see that projects over here. You would see these are the tickets or the tasks or tickets associated with this particular project. So that is the other enhancement, small enhancement related to the project which we have done. And also I want to show the power of custom attributes in the grid. Assuming like we did the change of this project, let me show. Assume we created a custom attribute called project name, and you want to, you know, if it is set like what projects you are working on, and then you want to filter it on. Like example, I just want to filter on a demo project, which are all the tickets working on the demo project. Remove this filter, and this filter or the elastic, this one. So you could see here project name is my custom attribute name, and then demo is the custom attribute value. So I would, when I do the search, it would filter out sort of thing for that particular this one. So you can add a number of attributes and then filter out using that custom attribute name and value pair in the grid. This is one small power feature on top of the ticket grid. where you can enhance and then use them. So, and then we also did a couple of enhancements on the knowledge management, where would
can you zoom back in a little bit on your screen? I know you zoomed out, so no, you don't have to go back to 6 center. No, I just meant zoom, change your resolution.
Okay.
You know, you zoomed out, so yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So let me go back to my looking at knowledge management. So let me edit any of the knowledge article. Let me go and take it down. So let me edit this particular article. It's not a proper one, I think it's just a testing one. So where currently we had an option to hyperlink, and that was only the URL links was possible to add. So we enhanced that to link to a file or a URL, actual URL. So if you want to link, for example, if you want to browse and then have a link to the knowledge article, let me go back to my
And there was one other question I'll answer while you're finding that file, Prasanna, is are all custom attributes available from the Advanced Ticket Center? And the answer is yes. So you will have all that. The sort of second part of that question, if we create a new custom attribute, does it automatically become available? Prasanna, do you know the sync time? If I go in and I create a brand new custom attribute, how long it'll take to show up in that grid?
Sync custom attributes, it would immediately, it would take a couple of minutes probably for the sync. I think it shouldn't take even minutes because what we do is like the refresh of cache on every 5 seconds. So it should be in a minute you should have that attribute available. After the sync it should be available in the terminal there.
Thank you.
So I'm just taking it of an example. So if you want to add that some checklist document, I'm just going to insert that. So that would get inserted to the view. So you could see that link, inserted link. And similarly, if you want to add image, let me browse through the same thing. Take some of the images. So you can change the width here, so and then insert the same way. So you can have that images locally available images can be linked, and then save them, create your article along with that. So that is one thing. And also we have an option, for example, in case if you have existing attachments done already, for example, there are a couple of attachments which you have done in the past. So now you have an option to copy that link from there and then use the same link to have them available here. So you can use that link in the URL. Let me show you that same thing. I can just copy the link. So you could go to URL and then have this text as image insert. So you will be able to get the same image which you have already inserted over there. So that was a small enhancement, I think a big way, because a lot of customers had that issue because error message if I'm creating a knowledge article for my local application, which the images won't be available on the web. So this would help most of the knowledge article creation, then have the views available there. So along with the custom attributes section where we added couple of attributes available in the grid. So a lot of customers came back and then looking, for example, if I am using for approval, so I would like to see custom attributes of the ticket in the approval. Assume, just take an example. I want to provision a VM, and this is the custom attributes for the VM, like CPU size and VM memory and disk space. So I want to visualize that or view that attribute name and value so that I can approve on this. I don't require to go to the ticket to view them. So what we have done is like we have enhanced the attribute section here. So currently you see the thing again in the development environment. So whatever you see in the details section here is not responsive. So what we have done is like even this details section we have made it responsive. It's not there in this build, which is the dev environment which you're using. You could see that responsive layout in the attribute section over here. So when the detail section would be responsive. So you could see the additional information, and then you could see the values, all the custom attributes configured for that particular ticket, and then values. So you could probably use that for approval purpose. So you could probably have them visualize the attribute values and then for approval purpose. That's one enhancement. Same thing available for the review section also. So I'm not have any reviewer to this, so it would show up for the reviewer too. That is one small enhancement. Along with those small enhancements, what we have also done is I think we did have from customers having some problem while assigning the ticket to a group. So if the response is slow or something, assume if I'm doing an action like assign to group, so it was taking some time. You could see that so earlier what we had, only the search was visible. So when you try to do the search, it would show up the search here, and then when the information of the group comes up, it would show up, and then search bar would go up there. So in case if you click prior to that, you might click desktop support or one specific group where the assignment of tickets used to happen to them by mistake. So what we have done is like we handled that so that the search bar or the information would show up only after the grid or the user information is populated. So you won't see the group or the search pop up before, so that you won't make that mistake, and then it would show up properly. That's so small, and it's actually a defect, but we fixed it in order to show that usage wise it improves a lot in assigning a group, because wrong assignment was one of the factors where it would take a lot of time for mean time to resolution. Okay. So, and also one small changes which we have done, for example, in case if you open up a incident or a change or something, so where you would when you use a special function to create ticket from incident to a problem or incident to a change, a lot of time the source, urgency, severity, priority, so those values were not copied to the new ticket. For example, if you're converting from service request is coming in from an end user, and then you convert that to a problem. So while converting, those fields were not visible or available. So we made them copied during the ticket creation, so you won't have that issue of showing that value or repopulating the value based on the other earlier ticket. It would get copied from the source ticket or main ticket. So those are all the small enhancements on the application service desk. Let me show you something on the advanced ticket, advanced reporting. So Jasper. So where we have done small enhancements on the, actually the version itself is changed. Earlier we were using 6.2.3. Now we have enhanced that to use 6.3.2 is the Jasper related Jasper version. So on that version, Jasper has come up with a couple of enhancements on the dashboard. One is, let me go to one of the dashboard. Let me search for the detail. Let me edit this dashboard. So you would see there on the right hand side you have a new image available. For example, in case if you want to add an image to the dashboard with the description, you have the option now. And web page was there earlier, then image was the new one which we are able to have them. And export functionality, save dashboard was not there. In between the release date, but we didn't patch our system. So along with this key release, we are enabling that functionality where the dashboard can be exported to a new dashboard, and also an option. Earlier you would see the refresh interval was not beyond 5 minutes. Now it can go to seconds. It can go to, I think, 30 seconds is what I could able to refresh. So you can refresh the dashboard contents every 30 seconds so that you can have the information available and export this dashboard on a new monitor. You would probably see them refreshed every time and then based on the configuration there. So the show export button would be available for exporting the dashboard to a PDF or this one. Also, I think it was there earlier, the option of drill down from dashboard. So it would be, like, example, assume this is a dashboard. I could go and then drill down dashboard. That means it will open up one more report for that one. So this is the edit mode of the dashboard. Let me go to the view of the dashboard. So this is the view of the dashboard where you have an option to export them to PDF or document or this one. You also have an option to do a filter based on the whatever the filters you have configured in the report. And this ticket details is the complete dashboard export option. So apart from that, we also have individual the dashlet. So you would be able to do the individual dashlet in the report also can be exported to a file or a PDF. So you can also do the drill down, so where it would open up the drill down of that particular report in the dashboard. So that's the smaller enhancement on the dashboard. Let me edit. You can also do that. Go back to the advanced reporting. Just let me edit this dashboard. So here, if you see ticket by organization, so what we have done is like is and date. This is the date field which gets dynamically based on the configuration. So if you see the ticket trend here, so it would automatically get added, and then you would see the ticket trend based on that time frame. So here, ticket as on Wednesday, October 25th, where in my dashboard I was configured that as a dynamic date field. It picks up the current date and then show me the date value there. So those are the features for the key release which we have added. Rich, over to you.
Thank you, Prasanna. Let me take control back here.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah, just a few more things we'll close out. I guess while we're transitioning back, before I talk a little bit about the maintenance release, any questions on the phone that have come in. So you can unmute yourself on the phone. There's a red microphone next to your name on WebEx. You can unmute there if you have any audio questions. Again, feel free to ask a question on chat. Just send it to everyone in Prasanna or myself. We'll answer that right away. Okay. We'll give people a chance to do that, but I'll jump into the December maintenance release. So typically, we have this monthly maintenance release window that we leverage, usually typically for patches. There was so much we wanted to get out before the end of the calendar year that we're essentially, it's almost like another release, and the functionality we're rolling out is very significant. So it's really, we're squeezing in one more release before the end of the calendar year. Two major features coming with that December maintenance release. The first is a Skype for Business integration. So for those customers that are using Skype for Business, which previously was named Link, part of Office 365 suite, if you're using that as your internal company chat tool, or even external, you can chat with external Skype for Business users as well. We'll be building a native integration with Skype for Business. So the huge value in the scenario that you can imagine or think through is that if I'm an analyst and I'm working on one of Prasanna's tickets, Prasanna's the end user, if I'm in CSM and I'm looking at Prasanna's ticket, I will see Prasanna's availability on Skype for Business directly in Cloud Service Management. And then if Prasanna is available, I can click on that availability icon and immediately launch a chat session through Skype for Business. The Skype for Business console is running inside our app. So you'll see the same look and feel on Skype for Business as you would Skype for Business Web or Skype for Business Client on Windows. And you'll be able to do that chat session. So the huge value there is you're chatting over Skype for Business. It's going to pop up on that end user's chat console that's running always on their machine during the business day, and that could be their mobile device Skype for Business. That could be their desktop or laptop Skype for Business. So we're using all of that, and that conversation will be tracked. You can also do some of those nice things in Skype for Business that we're working on right now, such as using audio over Skype for Business or doing video over Skype for Business. So this is just a huge integration that we see adding a tremendous amount of value to our customers. So in this first release, we'll really focus on showing availability and initiating a chat session and doing audio and video over Skype for Business. Things like screen sharing and other things will come later, but I think this is just a huge value to customers that are using Skype for Business. Next, mobile push notifications. So this is something we'd wanted to do for a while, and customers have certainly been asking for it for a while. So this December release with push notifications will allow agents to get notified on their mobile device of a ticket being assigned to them, an approval being assigned to them, a customer updating a ticket. So all those sort of events today where you're getting email notifications, if you have the mobile app on your device, you're going to be getting push notifications on your mobile device. Certainly, you can always turn this off on the OS level if you're using, Android or iOS. You can always turn these things off, but the goal is to reduce the time it takes to perform different tasks. So if you think about an approval, if you're assigned an approval, you'll immediately get that push notification on your device. If you tap on that notification, you'll go directly to the approval on your mobile app, open it up, and be able to make a decision immediately. So that should drastically reduce the time it takes to do approvals or just pick up a ticket that's been assigned to you. And additionally, in this maintenance release, we'll address any bugs, anything that we couldn't make it into the key release, or anything that's found after the release of key, we'll put into that release. So this is really almost another quarterly release squeezed in before the end of the calendar year. So I encourage you all to be ready for this release and look at your calendars and be excited to leverage some of these functions as well. That being said, we are working on a ton of stuff right now. And the quality and the value of these features is always dependent on the amount of customer input we can get. So we need a ton of customer input and feedback. We don't want to build things that we deliver and you say, well, this is fine, but it really should do this instead of that. We want to deliver value immediately and make sure that you're excited about these features and these new use cases that we're solving. And we need your help. in that. So we're starting research right now on a lot of areas, so notifications, including push notifications. We have the design ready. We need feedback on the look and feel and the events, and sort of building the long-term roadmap on notifications beyond just what's coming in December. Skype for Business, again, we want to get some feedback on what we've built so far and make sure that we're finishing up what's right for your teams. Usability, just general, continuing to improve analyst usability. Metrics and decision making, we know we can do better on reporting and metrics and dashboards, but we need a lot more input to understand your needs and challenges. Support managers, I think we do a great job for analysts and now for self-service users, but we need to do more for managers, so those level 1 or level 2 team managers. So we want to understand more about challenges and needs there and some of the new stuff we're working on through new interfaces as well. And lastly, virtual agents. Many of you know we're building a virtual agent, and we need more input on what your users need, both self-service and other users. I'll post some things on the community, but if you're used to Calendly, you basically can look at my calendar and schedule a meeting, and I have meeting invites set up. So if you go to calendly.com/rich-graves/research, you'll be able to book a meeting with me, and we can walk through this research, and I'll pull in other members of engineering and product management and support as necessary. So I'll send this out on the community as well, because I know it's not easy to look at a URL and type that in. So we need your input, and your input's critical to the success of the product and these use cases. All right, so I will pause there. If you do have audio questions, feel free to unmute yourself at this point. I think a few reminders on dates. All of our dates as far as production releases and maintenance releases are on the wiki, so you can go to the wiki and see second Saturday of the month for really the next, I think, 9 months. We put it on the calendar there, so take a look. But we'll roll out into staging starting next week. So you'll get the maintenance notification, should be at the end of this week. But look for staging updates the week of October 30th. Production is on November 11th. And then a couple other reminders of upcoming webcasts. We will have a webcast on the 8th of November talking about what we're announcing with the virtual support agent at the Fusion conference. We have another maintenance release, which is really a feature release coming in December. So keep an eye on or put those on your calendar and just be aware of those. And last but certainly not least, the community. So we will be, for the next 2 months, be giving away Amazon gift cards for those for the most active user each month. Okay, so questions. And we're tight on time, but you can unmute yourself with click on the red microphone next to your name and ask an audio question, or we'll hang tight for chat questions as well. Any questions on the phone? Okay. So one question came in, will you have a staging cycle for the December release? Yes. So our target is still approximately 10 days before production to roll out into staging. It's going to be a tighter timeline. Typically maintenance we usually do, if it's just patches, we usually do 3 or 4 days before production, but we'll do our best the goal is to hit 10 calendar days before production release. But yes, we will be putting this release out in staging first. And certainly the Skype for Business integration, as an example, it's something you turn on, so it's not going to be on there automatically. You need to put in, Office 365 credentials and that. So certainly something to play around with in staging first before we roll it out in production. Okay. Any other questions on the phone or on the chat? Okay. Thank you. There's great stuff coming. Some exclamation marks, so that's good. Okay. Since there's no other audio questions coming in right now, we'll do what we typically do. We'll stop the recording, stop the audio portion of the conference. Myself and Prasanna and Sesh will hang around, and if there's any other questions that come over chat, we'll answer them. So we'll stay around for the next probably 5 or so minutes and give people a chance to ask any questions. But thank you, everyone, for joining today. We really appreciate all your questions and comments and input, and a lot more coming over the next couple months, and we're really excited to share that all with you. So thank you, everyone.